Got the password.
You are a toy!
Nice monkey suit.
Weizie.
All right, welcome to NKAA Entertainment. This is our Collectors Hideout podcast where we talk all things pop culture, collectibles, toys, games, and other things. Your hosts for today are Weizie.
How you doing?
Enforcer.
What up?
And myself, MrPsyco. Today's special guest is LiL Haiti.
Howdy.
So today we're going to get started and just kind of give you guys an idea of what our collectible tastes are, the things that we like, the things that we pay attention to. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Weizie so he can, talk to you guys about what he's into collecting.
No pressure, because I'm first. Sounds good. Majority of what I collect is Alien Predator, is the vast majority of it. Everything from statues to figures, movies. Essentially, like, if you had a piece of shit and you stamped Alien vs. Predator on it, I might have it. Actually, come to think of it, you're right. I do have. It's called it's from a line of figurines. It's a piece of shit, but it's called a Predaturd, and it's amazing. I got it for Christmas 2 years ago for my brother. The thing is amazing. But that
I seem to have walked into the strangest podcast ever.
And it just started. So, also collect Ghostbusters Turtles, and assumed to be Ghostbuster Turtles, apparently, as well as Marvel Legends. Turtles? Oh yeah, man, I got all kinds of little turtles.
Ghostbusting Turtles.
Ghostbusting Turtles, turtles in general, yeah, turtles. No,
like turtles?
No, of the mutant ninja variety.
Okay,
sir.
there you go.
And I cherry pick like wrestling figures, Marvel Legends, and I think the only thing I have for like DC is Arkham, the Arkham video game figures. That's pretty much it. Absolutely no like Masters of the Universe. Those things piss me off, and I think it's nothing against them. I think it's the fandom that pisses me off. And Transformers, no, none. I can't do it. And I'd kill people, I believe. And now I got pizza roll.
Okay, so
Yummy.
This is MrPsyco, and I have similar tastes to Weizie. I collect a lot of Ninja Turtle things, from the original figures all the way to the current figures. I collect Ghostbusters, but not the newest figures. I haven't really gotten into the Diamond Select figures. I couldn't seem to get myself to repurchase figures I already had, and it's frustrating because the Diamond Select figures look amazing, but I already have them from Mattel, and other than the diorama bits, it's a hard sell. I used to collect Power Ranger things, but most of that line is done. I can't see anything else that I want from there. My very first collection would probably be Michael Jordan memorabilia. I have a lot of different Michael Jordan things that I collected from the time I was a kid up until present. And I have a fairly substantial collection of Nintendo items, whether it be games, systems, memorabilia, or anything like that. So currently, I guess the only thing I'm collecting are Ninja Turtles and Hot Toys. And it's incredibly frustrating buying Hot Toy figures. Okay, fine. I collect Amiibo too.
Oh, thank you.
But
You sad bastard.
It's
Hot Toys. That's expensive.
It is. It definitely is.
Jesus.
And Blitzway had to jump into it by doing a Ghostbusters line, which I'm still waiting for, by the way. If anyone from Blitzway is listening to this, it's been 8 or 9 months since I ordered the things. They were supposed to come out in February. Here we are at the end of August, and I still don't have them. So you might want to get to work on that.
Don't worry, Blitzway. You can take your time. He just wants to shove him up his ass. It's fine.
No,
Don't worry about
no,
it.
not at all. Like, I tell you this: the figures need to come out before pre-orders for the Ep.1 open up. That's how I'm looking at it.
That thing's gonna be like probably like $600-700.
Probably $800, knowing my luck.
You're gonna have to like open up the man cave just for that. Yeah. So
I'm gonna sell my blood for it. That's how that's gonna go.
So how about you, Enforcer? What do you got?
I am actually a former collector. I used to collect a lot. Yeah, well, when I get room, I may actually start collecting again. But until then, I am not collecting anything. I used to collect back in like 05, 06. I actually had pretty much the whole line of G.I. Joe Sigma 6 figures when they came out because I thought the scale was kind of crazy. 8-inch figures. Everything's
That's
only
kind of
6
an awkward
inch
scale.
and 12 inch. Yeah, so I was like, I like unique lines like that. I was a big collector of the NECA Gears of War figures. I have quite a few of those.
I picked you up.
Yes, you did. I also collected some of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line, the Legacy line when it came out. I have a couple of the Morphers. I was a big Transformers fan. I have from Beast Wars all the way through till Cybertron, or no, actually through Energon. And then I have a lot of the movie collection of figures as well. I still have all that stuff, but I just haven't been into anything new. So that's about where I'm at.
All right. And what about you, Little Haiti?
I used to have a small Star Wars collection, mostly the Return of the Jedi line. Exactly. And then,
My mind is blown right now.
And then I actually got bored and we were getting ready to move and I didn't want to pack everything, so...
You're going to make people cry if you say what I think you're going to say.
So, I turned into a Haitian-American version of Sid.
Oh, God.
And I spent my last Saturday at that house playing Army in the Yard and blew most of them up.
Now he collects hats.
I do.
Of the shredded variety.
I feel like if he had the money, he'd probably collect shoes.
Nah.
No, you seem like a sneakerhead. If you had the cash, if the airport paid you more,
No.
you wouldn't like steal out of their luggage?
No.
Okay.
That's not shoes. That's just too stupid. Not to go on a tangent, but why would you pay rent money for shoes? What the all right.
It's a house for your feet.
That's true.
For your feet.
But then why would you need 20 pairs of houses?
Investor,
That is also true.
rent them out.
Rent a shoe. Like rent it. What's it?
Yo,
like
man.
rent a rim?
Rent the wheel.
And if you don't like these, I have a nice pair of Jordans.
Hey,
No.
That possibly. Think about it. That might be a business for you.
No, because then the people that came to me, I'd understand that I need to be making money and there'd be clients, but at the same time be like, you're about to pay $500 for a pair of sneakers, you dumb fuck. I wouldn't be able to stop myself.
I feel like your clientele probably steal your shoes. So that's
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good possibility of that. And I also forgot to mention that I collect Legos, specifically the UCS Star Wars sets and anything from the MCU. So every one of the MCU movies that have been released, any Lego sets that were released, I also have those. But
Hey, look, a helicarrier.
but
okay. And as we speak, I see a helicarrier with 2 ships from Pirates.
yeah, Black Pearl and
Is that the tumbler?
Queen Mary's Revenge. It
Lego
is.
tumbler?
It's the UCS Lego tumbler. It's the only UCS set released outside of the Star Wars universe.
It'd be a shame if I knocked all those over.
It'd be a shame if I destroyed you.
I mean,
I don't think it would be a shame.
I don't think my wife would mind either.
Yeah.
She'd get like the insurance money, like life
He would be
insurance.
very
she'd
wide.
be
He'd be the
thrilled.
editor of your world.
The eater of worlds. Fat guy with
All right,
a lamp.
Galactus.
I think we're on the wrong podcast right now. The thing about collecting for me is it's incredibly expensive, and as time has gone on, it's more and more frustrating to try to collect. Everybody seems to be into collecting as a way to make a quick buck. They'll grab things that are new and then they'll put them on eBay or wherever else to try to sell them for 4, 5, 6 times what they paid for them, and it makes it difficult for people who are collecting for the sake of collecting to actually get something. And honestly, it's it disillusions me a little bit. I know you probably could sympathize with that.
No, it's no, you're absolutely right. From my time, I worked at Toys R Us for 4 or 5, a lifetime. It felt like, and no, you see these guys come in and you get to know the collectors. Who's a real collector? Who's the collector, but it's actually a scalper, as we call them in the world of collecting. Because you get the guys that come in, they'll buy one, maybe they'll buy two, one to keep in package, one to open up, if they even open them. But then you get that one guy who comes in and he's like, "Oh, look, I'm gonna buy all 7 of these for what? Like you're not opening one and keeping 6 sealed. Like no, unless you legit are helping other friends in other states where you're like, hey, I'm gonna help them out, get this for them, make them pay, a couple bucks extra
for shipping.
No, not even shipping. Like, thank you. Like, here's like $2-3 extra. Then shipping on top of it. All right, you're helping somebody out. I get that. But some of these guys, like you said, they come in, they'll grab all 7 of them, and there's I'm a collector when they're at the checkout. But as soon as they get home, they put all 7 of them up on eBay for $10, $15 more starting bid than what it was. And it's really become a hassle. That's why when I was working at Toys R Us, being a collector myself, I knew what people were looking for. So I would actually take the stuff that was on the rare side and I would stash it in the back until a collector came in and asked. If a collector asked, hey, do you have these in stock? And it's not the typical guy that like, yo, I know that guy Joe, he's an asshole. I'd help the other collectors out. Go grab it. Here you go. Cool. Have a great day. But you got to help out because these guys, they come and take 7 of them. That's not fair to any other collector that comes into the store behind them. Hell, and even against the collector idea of it. Take us completely out of the equation as collectors and being biased on it. This guy buys 7 of these. Then you have a kid come in right behind him looking for that exact thing because that's his favorite character. He'll never get that because his asshole took 7 of them for no reason. Yeah. It's just stupid.
Yeah, and in my experience, it ends up being more of the bad guys than the good guys. You have more of the guys looking to make money off of something than looking to complete their collection. And it gets incredibly frustrating. I mean, with the new Ninja Turtle line, it took me weeks and weeks and months to find Muckman. And then eventually I had to find it at a convention, and the guy that I was able to buy it from, after talking to me, realized that I was a collector, and instead of charging me the ridiculous amount he was going to charge, he gave it to me for just over what value would be, and I felt that it was a fair price. But even then, you have these people scooping it up, and if you look at Muckman from the 2012 Ninja Turtle series on eBay, you're looking at $300 if it's sealed.
Oh God!
And
it's sell mine.
It's
damn.
It's frustrating when you have every figure in a line. And again, I'm not completely immune to this. There are times I've bought in some extra things and I'm trying to recoup some money, but I can guarantee you I never go into a store, pull every one of the items off the shelf, and then take that to sell. It's just
no.
It's bad practice, and I think that karma will eventually catch up with you.
No, I mean I've done the whole grab one extra maybe to throw it online. And even then, if it's say it's a $20 legend, I'm gonna throw it online for maybe $30 or best offer. Give somebody that chance to offer me $25, and depending if it's through eBay and PayPal, I'll probably charge shipping. But if it's like said, throw it up on Instagram, like I sell a lot of stuff on Instagram, I'll usually just throw the shipping in on it too. So you figure that's $4 or $5 shipping right there. So I'm making maybe $5 profit off of it.
Yeah,
Then that makes my figure I bought 15 instead of 20.
And I think that goes back to what you were saying earlier as far as helping the collectors out, because you have people who, I mean, let's face it, other markets get things first, right? So if you make friends with people, it pops up in California first. If they snag it, they can get it to you, and you don't mind paying that extra $5 or $6. But it's the people who decide, well, here's an $8.88 figure from Walmart or a $9.99 figure for Toys R Us, and I'm going to put it up for $300. It's, what are you doing about that?
No, there's nothing you can do with it. I just hope that people don't buy it. But there's always those people that are, I'm a collector and I have disposable income and I'm going to pay $300 for an essentially mass-produced figure that will get another release with the new series that's coming out, because they still have other ones that are releasing that series, and it'll be out. But no, those people are feeding the problem essentially.
And I mean, for me anyway, I look at collecting, and the things that were out when we were kids, they have some value. You know, both intrinsically and externally, there's value because they're old. But most of the things that are released now, the value that you see on eBay it's made up.
That's fake.
Because it's just so inflated, because so many people snag all of them off the shelf. They create a market that doesn't actually exist. And these toys are so mass-produced. They're so mass-produced. And that all started with the Power Rangers in '93. You know, there was such a demand for the figures when they first came out that they had to go back and reproduce a lot of them quickly. So then toy companies are like, well, people are just going to buy all these. We're just going to produce as many of them as we can. And it's a fake market.
But then you run into that. That's essentially what happened with Turtles originally. They had the first run before the cartoon even came out. It got real popular. If you were part of the group that got the first run, you had the soft heads.
Yep.
Then they realized that it was cheaper and faster to produce the hard heads. And then the next wave came out with all the Turtles with hard heads, and that's when it just blew up for Turtles. What about Che or Haiti? You? Any ideas? Anything? Or you just like don't care?
No, I'm listening. It's rather intriguing. The economical side of it.
Bullshit. I know you're sitting there like, man, I blew those toys up, man. I could probably sold them on eBay for a lot of money. I know what you're thinking.
Well, when you're right, you're right.
Enforcer, anything? Yeah, you used to collect. And you used to work at Toys R Us also. So I know you've seen some shit.
Yes, I have, especially on the asset protection side of things.
Thievery.
My whole view on the whole scalper thing is it really becomes a problem when something is technically limited edition. When something, you know, is on a limited run and you know it's going to be on a limited run. You go and you sit outside that store in the morning and you're like the fourth person in line, and yet you go on that side of that store and all of them are sold out as soon as you walk in. You're going, what just happened?
Are we speaking from Nintendo Super System, whatever the hell it's called, experience?
It actually happened to me with the Wii. Back when the Wii first came out, that
never overpay for your own Wii.
Exactly. But you can sell your own Wii for a lot of money.
What, really? Hold on. I can sell my Wii for money?
I don't think your wife would.
Video game system.
Yeah, I don't think your wife would appreciate that.
But yeah, that whole side of things, especially like when it comes to the Amiibo collectibles, like those get sold for ridiculous amounts of money.
Oh.
And the way that they do the pre-order system, it helps scalpers. It's there to help scalpers.
All right, you mentioned Amiibos. I even know the whole thing about Amiibos. Even when I worked at Toys R Us, I was there when the Amiibos started. And I don't understand the appeal of them. I know it's Nintendo, and I guess that's the appeal. But I remember one day, one of the characters came in. I think it was Marth, one of the rare ones. Toys R Us was set to get this many on a certain day. So we got the shipment in like 3 or 4 days early. I took a picture. I took them out of the box and took a picture of them. I put them on Instagram. I got death threats of people calling me an asshole, that where did I get them? I shouldn't buy them all. Leave some for everybody else. I'm like, yo, like the tag's right there. Like, I'm in a store. Like, what the fuck is your problem right now? These things haven't even been released. Like, relax a little bit. It's not picture in my car or at my house. It's just
but,
like, yo, look at these. They're not even out yet, but it's cool to see.
But that's what the system has produced.
Yeah, and
it's turned people that normally collect, and it makes them extremely angry when they find out that when they even think that somebody's going to be scalping.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? The thing with the Amiibos is, for a lot of us that are older, Nintendo is very nostalgic. For many people that are our age, you know, we grew up with the original Nintendo, with the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, so you have a connection to these characters, and they're being released. And for the young kids, it's characters in games like Smash Brothers that they're still really excited for, and you can have a little character. It's a Nintendo collectible, but it also interacts with the video game and unlocks different things. So there's a reason to collect it if you're a gamer, because you tap it into whatever game and it unlocks new things you wouldn't be able to get any other way. And the issue is, as Enforcer alluded to and as you alluded to, that stores have not caught up with the fact that they are producing a fertile ground for scalpers. And The scalpers will come in and buy an obscene amount of these things and then turn around and sell them.
Well, in all reality, I mean, to play devil's advocate on that, the stores don't care. Stores are like, oh, this guy wants to come in and buy everything. Everything's off my shelf. Time for more stuff. So they're not worried about the collector or the child. They're just looking at, oh, all that stuff sold. That's all they care about.
And most people know that. But then when that's the store's mentality, they need to not behave as if it's not their mentality. And I'll give you a perfect example. When the NES Mini came out, the NES Classic Mini last November, when the stores sold out of them, the stores were like, oh, we didn't know what happened. We don't know why they sold so quickly. We're not sure what we did. When in actuality, it was exactly what you said. They wanted it off their shelves. They're going to take people's money. But at the same time, they didn't want any of the blame. And when you have people posting up pictures online where they bought 50 SNES Minis that were all delivered from Best Buy, one person bought 50, and everyone else wasn't able to get one that wanted one, the store was going to get their money regardless. If they had thought a little more ahead, then they could have done it in a way that would not have pissed off their customers. If your customers aren't happy with you, they're going to go somewhere else. You're not going to have a business. But
I mean, caps on how many you can order and shit like that.
Absolutely.
Because they still would have sold out.
Yeah, and here we are a year later, and the same thing happened recently with the SNES Classic. And stores are like, oh, well, we're holding our pre-orders till we get the whole system figured out, and we're going to do it right. But then you have people going on Reddit and people going on Instagram posting pictures of receipts online where they purchased 99 SNES Classics from Best Buy, and they purchased 99 SNES Classics from Amazon, and Amazon actually responded and said, you know what? We should have been a little more proactive in what we're doing. Every order that had been placed, it will be one per account. So they're canceling all the extras, and they're going to reorder things, or they're going to reopen them later is the hope. But Best Buy was like, oh, well, we don't know what happened. We can't believe that this happened. We're sorry. But they don't ever want to do anything. And it was the same issue when people were buying 50 of the NES Classics. So if you're a store, if all you care about is the money, then that's fine. But don't act like you didn't know it was going to happen. Because then you have people like me who, I've been collecting Nintendo stuff since I was a kid. And I wanted the SNES Classic Mini where I didn't want the NES Classic, because I wanted Star Fox 2. I was never able to play that game. It was never released. Nintendo has said they will never release that game separate of the SNES Classic, and now they're sold out. They made one run, and I'm never going to get it unless I want to pay $500, and I'm not willing to do that. Well, as a collector, I'm not going to pay $500 for one game.
Well, hopefully once it comes out, people will put it on an emulator, and then you can get it onto a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So a Raspberry Pi is like a system thing, like it's a small computer. I've seen ones where they actually make them out of original NES controllers. They 3D print the controller, they put everything in there so that all the buttons work, and you just take an HDMI cord, hooks into your TV, and gives you every NES game, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Highly illegal.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo...
I'm not saying do this, people. But
Nintendo really frowns on that sort of thing, and I guess for me it was the idea of being...
I just said it. I didn't know if you do it or not.
Thank you. For me it's the idea of playing a game that should have launched with the Super Nintendo. I mean, and we're talking about a game that was finished.
Well, I know where you're going, but I mean, you might not be aware that the Raspberry Pi thing I mentioned, that's what people have done with the original NES Classic. They've actually hacked that thing and put this whatever the hell in it, and it gives them every game in the library.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
just the 50 they have on there. So people are just speculating that they're going to do the same thing with the SNES because it can't be much more complicated, and you can get everything. My problem with both those systems, and I'm actually not interested in getting either one of them, because I look at it like this: Sega came out the past few years doing the exact same thing. Sega, though, you have that system, you can plug in the original controllers into it from the original Sega system. So you don't have to buy extra controllers. If you had one from back in the day and yours broke, your controller's working it. Awesome. Then you could also play the cartridge games in it. You take your old cartridge, pop it in that Sega system, it plays. Why Nintendo didn't do that? Because if that's what they did, I would have gotten one in a heartbeat. That I could go grab all my original Nintendo classic games that I got and just put the cartridge in and play them. That would be amazing. They really, to me, missed that. to come out with the SNES and not do it again, can't play the cartridge games, it really seems like a missed opportunity for those of us that when GameStop first opened, we were buying the used, original games that we wanted to have in our collections. We've got them. Our systems might not work anymore. That would be the way for us to play them. And it's gone.
Well,
they really missed that.
No, you're absolutely right. But those Sega consoles that you're alluding to were not released by Sega. They were released by third parties after the copyright on the Genesis expired.
That's fine.
So it's
that's fine, but it's shaped like a Sega, generally in that essence.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And everything, but let's save the rest of that conversation for the video game podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
What it comes down to is, it seems like now everybody takes whatever opportunity they can to buy as much of something as they can to then sell it for as much as they can, and it's a problem.
So
but people have to make money. So
on different topic, because of what you were saying in your beginning about what you collect and everything, and the whole Diamond Select Ghostbusters. Just recently, Diamond Select actually re-released the 4 Ghostbusters in the $14.99 packs that come in Toys R Us with extra accessories, extra proton streams, different packs, so it all works better. So if you were really thinking about it, they're $15 a piece, and it's everything you need for that figure, and then you're good.
Yeah,
like I said, if it's something you think you get it one and done, knock them out.
Yeah, it's just the problem is collecting is kind of, I call it an obsession, you call it an addiction. And I worry what happens to me when I buy those first 4 Ghostbusters, because you and I both know what'll happen. I'll buy those, I'll be like, all right, this has all this extra stuff, I have no reason to buy any of the other ones, but then I'm going to go to your house, and I'm going to see your set, and I'm going to see the rooftop scene, and I'm going to say, you know what? I should have that rooftop scene. So then I either buy the more expensive packs or go on eBay to buy the pieces that other people don't want, and I'm paying more money. And then I'm like, you know what? This looks amazing, and they did just announce at Comic-Con that they're doing Ghostbusters 2, and they're going to build the outside of the firehouse.
You really want to get pissed off?
So then, I'm going to have to get that, and where does it end?
No, do you really want to get pissed off right now?
Sure.
They're only doing 9 Ghostbuster 2 figures.
Okay.
It's a 15-figure wave.
Okay.
The other 6 figures...
Ghosts?
Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon.
Oh, Jesus. See, and this is the problem with being a collector. For all of you that are listening to this and thinking to yourselves, well, maybe I can get into collecting. It sounds like fun. No, it's fun. And then it's excruciating. Because, it starts with just these amount of figures. But it never ends there. I mean, I bought the 4 original Ghostbusters from Mattel. Then I bought the 4 Ghostbusters 2-pack figures when they released it for the holiday. And then when they did the 30th anniversary Ghostbuster figures, which are just reproductions of the first 4 Ghostbusters, I bought those.
But their packs were removable.
Yeah, their packs were removable. My brain should be removable.
All right. So aside from our things that we do collect, I wanted you to see a picture of this. Now, I remember back in our childhood, there was like the old food figures, like military. I don't know if you ever
yeah.
Donut. This is what they've got now. It's called Grocery Gang or something. It's like the boy version of Shopkins. I don't remember if you remember those from Toys R Us.
Okay.
But it's like a 4-inch figure. He's a hamburger. And it was just such a random...
It kind of looks like a shit burger, I'm just saying.
I mean, it looks like a roast beef burger maybe. Yeah, I can see that. But it's just such a random thing. And they have 10 figures. There's like one's gum, one's a slice of pizza. Like, it's really a toss back to those old food fighter, whatever the hell they were called from our generation.
Yeah.
To these things. And they're like $6 a piece. I was this close to buying everything that was there. Because they look cool as shit. I mean, then I remember I don't want a divorce.
Yeah, no, they're definitely unique and they're interesting. It's just...
Did you see the Enforcer?
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, it comes back to...
Hey, it's Mayor McCheese.
A zombie Mayor McCheese.
I thought, never mind. It just comes back to the fact that there's always something to spend money on.
Yeah.
And you got to find a place to stop yourself, and that's hard. Especially when most of the stuff you want is ridiculously expensive. I'm looking at you, NECA, and your Ninja Turtle figures at Comic-Con.
Hey.
Every year.
Hey. Do the math. It's $25 a figure. That's an amazing price for figure with the amount of accessories you're getting. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but it's all at once. Like if it was $25 a figure every month, okay, fine. But then it's $25 a figure times 8 figures all at one time.
All right,
and it's a lot.
To ease your NECA woes, since that's all you buy from NECA, is the occasional turtle exclusive that comes out. But here I am stuck with their Predator line, their Alien line, their fucking 18-inch Ninja Turtles, and then their occasional horror movie figures. Yeah, but NECA, as bad as it has one hit, they spend $200 on it. Like I said, it's $25 a figure, and they're detailed figures.
Yeah,
they're worth that money.
No, they're absolutely
and it comes in that
worth
case
the money.
that, like the old school cases from when we were kids.
They are absolutely worth the money. It's quite a big hit, and it sounds incredibly hypocritical when I say that because I said earlier that I collect Hot Toys figures, but it's just that one hit right in the very beginning, and I think to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to pace out my collecting this year. I'm going to spend X amount of dollars this month, X amount of dollars that month. But you have to put an asterisk next to that because whenever Comic-Con comes around, you're going to spend whatever when you find out what's gonna be released at Comic-Con.
Yeah, and I only fear next year will be like the 6-inch versions of the movie Turtles.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be next year.
Prediction for next year is the movie Turtles, and for absolutely no reason, an in-scale Technodrome for the 6-inch figures we just got this year.
As amazing as that would be, I could never see NECA doing that. They don't really do stuff like that. That'd be a little too big for them.
You mean like the 18-inch Ninja Turtle?
Those are amazing.
Yeah, but still, they make big things.
No, but they also make life-size things.
Yeah.
But they're not really big on the vehicles.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they want the money. So it's just like Playmates did with they're crossing Ninja Turtles with Ghostbusters. Like, hey, you grew up in the 80s, right? Yeah? Okay, here you go. This is for you.
Those things are still nightmare-inducing.
They look horrible, but you're going to buy them anyway.
But like I listened to a lot of other podcasts and reviews, and people are like, "Oh, these things are awesome." And I'm looking at them. I'm gonna bring a picture up for you so you can see these things, Haiti. It's a turtle, but each turtle has the facial features making them
Human.
a specific Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like a Ghostbuster wearing a really tight turtle mask. We can still see his features being predominant through that turtle mask.
Which turtle is Winston?
Donatello, I believe.
When?
No, Donatello was Egon, I thought.
I'm looking right now. But I mean, it's.
I just want the black turtle. I'm done with
Yeah,
that.
Raphael is Winston, actually. I'm looking at
okay.
here, right
There
here.
we go. Look at these things. Tell me that's not scary.
It's terrifying, but I'm getting it.
And that's exactly what Playmates Toys is thinking. They're like, you know what? These look horrible. And if people were to actually stop and look at them, they might think twice. But if you grew up in the 80s and you love Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters, again, if you grew up in the 80s, you do. It's not a question. They know you're going to buy these.
And I told you the day they announced this, I sent you the picture of them. I was like, these things look hideous, but I must have them.
Exactly.
And they're as big as those.
I don't even collect and I want those.
But I mean, and here's
Welcome
where
to the dark side. You got Turtle Ghostbusters.
Here's where Playmates Toys knew what they were doing, because they're not just giving us the Turtles. They're giving us everything that people wanted in the Mattel line and some of the other lines that have come before. The packs are removable. They each have a ghost trap. They each have proton streams for their proton packs.
They really look like they're coming packed like the old Kenner Real Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
A ghost, pack, trap, like everything you need. Just that if you have one turtle,
Donatello,
or one turtle buster or whatever, you have turtle, trap, pack, and a ghost. You don't need other ones if you don't want them. Like Little Haiti wants the Raphael because he looks like a black guy because he's kind of racist, but. He wants it. That's who's in it. He doesn't need to get the other ones because he's got the whole little thing there. He's got everything he needs for that.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
A little racist.
here you have Donatello as Egon, and he comes with the Terror Dog.
Yeah.
And then you have Raphael as Winston, and he comes with Slimer. I mean, there really isn't anything else that you could ask for in this set. But knowing that, I get the feeling that these are probably going to be priced slightly above the wrestling figures, and they're in the same scale of that Ninja Turtle wrestling figure line. They were $20 a piece, the wrestling ones. I would not be surprised to see these at $25 or $30 a piece because of all the accessories. When you look at the wrestling figures they came out with last year, you got one thing, a trash can lid, a shovel, whatever it was that went with that specific wrestler. And here you have all sorts of stuff.
Well, you make a very valid point, and dear God, I hope you're wrong.
Me too.
I do not want to pay $30 a piece. Even I honestly don't want to pay over $20 with those.
You will.
I'd like to be able to treat those like I do Marvel Legends, where I know they're going to go on clearance eventually. They're going to get marked down to go to buy one, get one 40% off. I'll just wait, grab them when they're on sale. I have a feeling that when those drop, there's going to be no waiting for on sale. That those are going to fly off the shelves because you're going to have Turtle fans buying them, you're going to have Ghostbuster fans buying them, and then you're going to have those casual mom and dad walking through the toy aisle like, oh, look at that Turtle. Oh, it looks like a Ghostbuster. And that's from their childhood. They're like, oh, I'm going to get that for little Johnny because now he can love both of them together too.
Absolutely.
And especially with the new Ghostbuster cartoon coming in within the next year and a half or so. You have the Turtles starting another new cartoon. They're going to fly.
No,
they're going to
I'm just going to go ahead and put aside my $240 for those, man.
No, you know what? I'm thinking.
What the?
If they're 30,
I'm getting 2 of each.
Oh, is that what kind of broken math are you doing, homie?
No, I'm getting 2 of each.
No, and the thing is, like
one to open and one to shove up his rear. All right.
You know,
one to open and one to put away in a safe for 10 years and then sell for about $1,000.
But he just had a whole thing about scalpers being dicks. He's just sitting there like, man, I'm gonna be a scalper. I'm gonna be one of those dicks.
Here's the thing, right?
I'm only buying one.
If these launch the way that the wrestling figures did, the wrestling figures hit the stores at the end of October, the beginning of November of last year.
Right.
They were $20 a piece, but the stores got one shipment, and each shipment had one of each.
Yep.
And then they didn't get any more until
after Christmas.
Until like May. That's when I started seeing them pop back in the stores.
But then they were in abundance.
Exactly. But they didn't lower the price. It wasn't like, oh, you know, we got the Christmas sale, here you go. It was...
And you know what? You might be absolutely right because I don't know if it was a price error or whatever, but the other day Walmart put up they have an exclusive comic book Black Panther Legend figure coming out.
That's cool.
6-inch figure. Walmart, on their website, shipped by Walmart, like $48. Wow. Like, usually when you see that price on Walmart, when you look at it, it's sold by somebody else, some third party in their marketplace thing. No, this is shipped by Walmart, $48. Like, Walmart's getting in the scalping game.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't a mistake because people will buy it. I mean, and that's what the issue is, in my opinion. That's why, as much as I love collecting, I don't collect as much as I used to, and I don't have the patience to do what you do, which is drive around the stores because I get to the first one, I don't find it. I get to the second one, I don't find it. I get to the third one, I don't find it, and by that time, I'm like, the hell with it. I'm spending enough money in gas, I'm spending enough money in wasting my time driving around to not find it, and eventually I'm going to have to go online and find it, and then I'm just not going to buy it because I won't spend twice what something is worth.
I just get lucky because on my way home from work, depending on the route I take, I can essentially pass 2 Walmarts and a Target. So I can stop there, and then where I live, if I just go 10 minutes to the west, I hit another Walmart, Target, Toys R Us. It's all within that area. And the only other thing I win is that the wife likes to go to Miami to visit her mother. Why, I don't know. But she does. She goes down there to visit her mom, and on the way down there, we pass like 3 Walmarts, Toys R Us. So it's like, it's not like I go out anymore and just go hunting. It's just like as I'm going somewhere, I'll stop. Because I can't just do the hunting and just drive around aimlessly for hours trying to find some action figure that will probably be scalped anyways. And they did that recently with the Netflix wave. I went to a Walmart because I was using the BrickSync thing and it said that they had like 57 Netflix wave Marvel Legends.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap, they got a whole bunch, and so I get there, and there's not one Jessica Jones. You have 57 here. He had an end cap full of these things, and not one Jessica Jones. And people are like, oh well, that doesn't mean it. Like no, somebody came through and bought all the Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Because they're assholes.
Because it's the rare figure in the line.
Apparently, I don't know why.
So they boost again. They inflate the value of the figure because they choose that one. And it's probably something as simple as there were less of Jessica Jones in the case than the other figures because companies think that female toys don't sell, even though when you're talking about superheroes, they do. They sell. But the company's like, all right, well, we have to pack one a little bit less. It's going to be this one we think is less popular.
Running away, Enforcer.
So the scalpers just decide, okay, well, this is going to be our figure, and then it's gone.
Oh, Jessica Jones. Pain in my ass trying to find that thing. Finally got it, but Jesus.
I just can't get into Marvel Legends. Not anymore.
Don't do it. I'm trying to get out.
When they released the Rogue figure, I bought that from the 90s X-Men. And when they released Cyclops from the 90s X-Men, I bought that. And I was thinking to myself, if they release all of the 90s cartoon X-Men, I will buy that. And
see, that's where I started. When I was originally buying Legends, originally was the MCU. And at that time it was, I think Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and then Hulk.
Yeah.
It was the original Avenger waves that they had out. That's why I started like, okay, cool, I got my Avengers, and then I was like, oh, if they ever released the original Jim Lee cartoon X-Men, I'd buy those.
Yeah.
And then it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And now I got a shelf full of Spider-Man. I'm not even a big Spider-Man fan. I got only like 2 of him, but then I've got like every female he's ever had, and then like every bad guy he's faced. And I just need to get rid of all of it, I think. I need to do something, man.
You can give all of them to me.
And here's the thing, right? The Spider-Man Homecoming movie, they did that whole...
my dead body.
I can arrange that.
No, but it's... they... For the Spider-Man Homecoming line, they put out the Stark suit, they put out the homemade suit, they put out Vulture, and every one of the figures had a Vulture wing set. And I bought all of those. And my plan was to just have Spider-Man, the homemade suit, and the Vulture, and keep all that and sell the other figures. But then I never sold the other figures. And then I never opened any of the boxes. And then they're still sitting on my shelf in my collectible room.
You got 90
in
days
the bag.
To return them.
Is it 90 days?
You got 90 days to return them.
Okay, well, I might return them. Because then I looked at them the other day, and I thought to myself, here I bought these things. I spent $140 to buy them, and I'm not actually going to open them because I'm not actually going to display them. And the one Spider-Man figure I am going to display is I bought the Hot Toys Spider-Man Stark suit, so that's the Spider-Man that's going to be on display. And I think to myself, I spent $200 on that, and I spent $140 on these Marvel Legends figures I don't even want. Right? I knew I didn't want them, and yet they were Spider-Man. I liked the movie. I bought the figures. It's a compulsion.
If you're gonna, I would suggest returning because recently Walmart's had like a huge clearance on them, and people were buying them for like $9 a piece.
Yeah, one of our mutual friends, contacted me and was like, "Hey, I just bought blah 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 for $8." I'm like, "Thanks. I didn't already feel bad about myself. Thank you."
I was with another buddy at a Walmart, and we were looking, and there was a Moon Knight on the shelf. He's like, oh, one of these Moon Knight. And I walked up, I grabbed it, and I started dry humping it. Like, look what I found. and he saw
That's
that
not demented at all.
Don't judge me. So we're sitting there, and then there's like on the peg, it shows like $9 was for one of the much older waves. And I was like, yeah, man, there's a lot of things on clearance for like $9 on older waves. And he's like, bro, man, if only I could be like one of those assholes, go like scan this one, put that one in the bag. I'm like, bro, I used to do loss prevention. I might want to just tackle you for being a dickhead. So he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So I grabbed something else for another buddy of mine that I saw, and I walked over to the price checker, scanned it, and the thing I had came up, $19.99 for a Nebula. And when he scanned out, it came for $9. I'm like, yo, you lucky son of a bitch. He's like, hey, it's because you humped it. I'm like, oh, really? So then here I am dry humping a Nebula toy, hoping it didn't work. But it was, the dream, I guess. But I was like, holy crap, that wave just came out. And it was already at $9 clearance.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
And it's because that wave...
We're at about 43-minute mark.
That wave...
Podcast go quick.
Didn't have anything that people wanted except for those 3 figures. I mean, look at it this way. Did anybody want Beetle? No. Did anybody want Moon Knight? No. Did anybody want Tombstone? Not even remotely.
No, for you and your low view on it, you're right. But when you start going on the forums and stuff, Moon Knight, like all the people that want the comic book versions, they were clamoring for them. Because you had the people that like, oh, I want the comic book characters, but I don't want the movie characters. And you had the people who are like, I want the movie characters, but I don't want those comic book characters. And Hasbro's like, yo, screw y'all, we're going to mix up everything. So you had to buy them all to get to build the figure anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Once in a while you get lucky, you don't want the comic book character, and to build the figure is a comic book character. You can get away with buying your 2 movie ones or whatever. You get lucky. But the other half the time, the build the figure is a movie character, and you're screwed buying a bunch of comic book characters you don't want.
Yeah, and now that you told me I have 90 days, I'm definitely going to return those figures.
Yeah, Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to return them. And then what my hope is now is that I thought Vulture looked incredibly awesome.
You know what you should do? You should return them and ask to see if you can repurchase them and see if they come up for $9.
That would be amazing, but I'm not going to do that. That's too much effort for me.
Standing there and be like, man, can you now ring that up and see what it comes up as? Oh, because it was $9. I like to buy those back. That's really too much effort. That's really.
But here's the thing. It's the same reason. It's not the money that I spent. It's the fact that when I'm looking at them, they're cool for a 6-inch figure, right? They're cool for the amount of detail you could put into a figure that's mass-produced like that by Hasbro. I mean, and let's preface this by saying there's a gigantic difference between what NECA is willing to do with their 6-inch figures and what every other company is willing to do with their 6-inch figures.
NECA gets crazy with it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's mostly about the only 3 figures that I would have out from that line are Spider-Man in the Stark suit, Spider-Man in the homemade suit, and Vulture. And the rest of them will just be sitting there. So to purchase those doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And after I bought them, I felt regret immediately. I was like, you know what? I wish I hadn't bought these. So now what my hope is I'll return those things, get $140 back, and then, maybe Hot Toys will say, we released the 2 Spider-Mans, and here's a Vulture. Here's a Hot Toys Vulture, $200, and I'll buy that. Because at least when you have it out and you have it displayed, it looks cool. No one's going to come up to your Marvel Legends figures from Hasbro and say, wow, that is an amazing likeness. That is just completely crazy. Because that's not the quality they put into them.
Oh, it's also, but like you said, it's not the price point either.
Exactly.
Like, you can only get so much for a $20 figure. And like, besides NECA, who gets some really good likenesses with their Ripley's and their Dutches and their other movie characters. No, you're right. And to get a movie likeness really accurate in that scale is hard. They did pretty well with Punisher from the Netflix series. It looks pretty damn good. It looks like Shane from Walking Dead. It really does.
Nice.
It really does. All right.
The thing is, it's like, if the Marvel Legends figures were priced, and we just talked about things being too expensive, but if they were priced at $25 a piece like NECA, and they were NECA quality, I might be more inclined to have them. I might be more inclined to display them. But when I look at the Marvel Legends line, like when I'm at your house and I look at your figures on display, the way you have your lighting, the figures look good. But if you look at them in any other kind of lighting, if they're not placed properly, if they're not posed properly, and you're not looking at them from the right side, they look like crap. Yeah, and that's the thing that I just can't get past.
Marvel Legends is one of those lines, like say even the smaller lines, Star Wars, G.I. Joe figures. You see the figure like, oh, that's cool. But when you have it displayed one by itself, it's lackluster.
Exactly.
But when you have 30 of them, and it's like a whole like army, you have all these things. Like in my display with the Marvel, I've got the entire Marvel MCU on one shelf.
Yeah, you have the Infinity War cast.
That I can eventually fit. I don't have the Guardians there; they're in the man cave. But like when you see them all together in one shot like that, then it's like, oh, that looks really badass. 'Cause you know what it is. It hits home. But if it's just like one Iron Man, you're like, yeah, that's cool.
No, and that's exactly it. And I guess maybe if I had more of the figures and I was going for that MCU set, it would be great. But when I look at the figures that I just bought, I think to myself, $140 for something, I'm going to look at 3 figures. And to be honest, as cool as the homemade suit is, I'm not going to look at that figure. No. It's going to be Spider-Man in the Stark suit and Vulture. And Vulture can't even move because his pack is too heavy to stand. So the pack has got to be on the stand, and your figure's got to be next to it. So it really limits your posability. It just
the pack attaches to him, and you could put him standing with the pack, but you put the stand underneath, so the stand still holds the wings. with him in front of it.
Okay.
You know, that would piss me off if I couldn't even put the wings on him and have him stand there. That'd be a waste. Oh man, I would throw that shit through a window.
It would break it too because it's so ridiculously heavy. That's why it has its own stand.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up right around the 50-minute mark. We're gonna try and make this a short one. I guess it's better than our 10-minute or 12-minute longer wrestling one we just did. But all right. Well,
so what I would say is you guys should check back. We're going to do this as often as we can. We're just kind of putting things out there that we like. We're talking with one another as if, well, actually, we're talking to one another like we always do. The only difference is now we have microphones recording what we have to say. If you like what you hear, just give us a shout out. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and maybe if you have some ideas for conversations, leave them in the comment box, and we'll figure it out.
if you put comments and it's like a genuine, like, hey, that's a good point, we'll even mention it. Like, we'll bring it up. Like, hey, yeah, so-and-so said this shit, and throw it out. And if you try and insult us, we'll probably just insult you.
May insult you back.
No, it's not me. It's not. It's
So be
not.
careful on
It
that one.
depends on the insult.
Fair warning. If your insult gets our attention, we'll make you famous.
Prepare for insults.
Don't tell them that. Then they're going to do it on purpose and try and be
Yeah.
famous. And
Fine.
it's just going to be ridiculous.
We won't make you famous. We'll make you feel like your dad should have. Anyway.
Yeah. Good job editing that one. All right. So until next time, guys, like I said, check us out. This is Weizie signing out.
This is LiL Haiti.
Oh, okay, cool. I was wondering if there's anybody else here. I was wondering.
Enforcer.
And MrPsyco.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Please don't sue us. We broke.